Good morning, everyone. We're about to bring you the latest COVID-19 UAE updates. However, if you found this podcast through an article, which so many of you are doing, please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts so you can get your Dubai news daily. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Lovin Daily, where I take you through the trending stories that everyone in Dubai is talking about. Today, we have a brilliant show lined up for us. We're talking about a survey that reveals the best companies to work for in the UAE. We're talking about 2 Irish women were arrested for refusing to quarantine. We also, very excited, in studio this morning, we have Holly Murphy, the woman who ran 7 marathons in 7 days across 7 Emirates for Heroes of Hope. She's going to be joining the studio very soon. And that's later in the show, but we have more coming up.
Yes, and the energy in the office in the studio is so good right now. But we'll also be talking about Dubai Expat who played dead to avoid being mauled by a gang of angry men, and lowdown on the UAE Ramadan fasting timings.
The whole jing bang.
The whole jing bang, which is a thing because I googled it. It's legit.
Yeah, Simran got a lot of slack for saying the whole jing bang on one of the things. There's one guy who keeps commenting being like the whole jing bang, but she's proved us again. Simran, you keep proving us wrong.
I know. I pick up English from here and there, so like, you know. But it's someone said she bang, someone's like it's not jing bang, it's she bang. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole shebang. That would be a phrase that I've heard of. Yeah, the whole shebang.
Jing bang is also a thing. But anyway, Casey, do you want to say it?
I don't know the full story, so I think you need to lead us in.
Okay. Guys, we've been waiting forever for this. I think since 2004, this has been the most anticipated reunion. Friends reunion, and it's gonna happen next week. Let it soak in.
This feels like a world exclusive.
It is a world exclusive.
A friends reunion.
Yeah.
The whole gang, the whole jing bang.
The whole jing bang.
Next week? No.
Next week, yes.
More details.
It was supposed to happen last year in May, but because of the lockdown and coronavirus and everything, they postponed it. And now finally, after a year, it's happening next week. So David Schwimmer, he was on the show with, he was on a reality show, not a reality show, he was on some talk show, and he revealed that he is getting on a plane, and he will be filming the reunion next week with the entire Friends cast. And it's not going to be like a scripted thing. It's going to be unscripted. They're not going to be playing characters from Friends. They're going to be themselves and just talk. And David Schwimmer's going to be David Schwimmer. Aniston is going to be Aniston.
Are they going to try and like step into their old character? Because that's kind of what I want.
So I know that's what we all want. Like we don't want an interview between them. But like he said, there's
it's a friends reunion. So they're getting for an unscripted interview where they talk about all their best moments. Oh my God.
And he said there's a good surprise waiting for viewers at the very end. So I'm hoping there's some kind of
the movie reveal. The movie reveal.
Oh my God! Do you think?
I don't know.
Do you think, like, with all the kids, Monica's kids and Lisa's kids, and
we deserve it after the year we've had.
Honestly, we deserve it.
I wish we could be puppet masters for all the actors that we liked, and we could bring them together.
They owe it to us.
Chris Hemsworth, you can come too.
Brad Pitt, because he was anyway a cameo on the show.
That would be
there
interesting.
There were a lot of actors that were cameos that people don't really notice.
Yeah.
And then they move forward.
But now Jennifer and Brad Pitt anyway have something going on, so might as well just make it a Friends thing.
There's been a lot of untruths in the show already. So
no, seriously, there was some award show that happened last year. Did anyone see them smitten? Anyone else?
I know the award show. I saw the photo. She looked amazing, and he was watching her. And
I was like, wow.
But something going on might be a little bit. Anyway. Let's jump into our first story. Guys, this may interest you. It'll give you inspiration, potentially. A survey has revealed the best company to work for in the UAE. Now, the 45 best employers in the Emirates have been revealed by Great Place to Work, which is management consultancy, and the results are in. Now, basically, they said that during the pandemic, they managed to create the balance between, business continuity while maintaining employee well-being. And they've listed a whole lot of them. Do you want the top? Do you want to try and guess, maybe?
Definitely not Lovin Dubai. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I would say called Augustus.
Augustus. For me, I would say Augustus. But what is in the news?
Well, it's
official.
Well, it's interesting because I assume we are a small to medium company, so I don't think that we would sit in this bracket. So this is like the big players, the big companies. I don't fully know how they define them. But of course, within the top 10, of course, you have to buy police.
Oh.
And we wrote a story about them hiring a little while ago. And we shared the video, which was a really cool recruitment video about them hiring. It got like 90k views because it was made by Dubai Police. And then I went to write the story a little while later. I missed the ball on it, I won't lie. And all of the hiring positions were totally filled because as soon as they open a Dubai Police job with incredible benefits and amazing package, it's gone.
I applied. It came rejected in like 2 seconds.
Did you actually?
No.
I could see that. I would love to see that. That would be my favorite video.
Me getting rejected?
No, you working with Dubai Police.
Oh, I would be on it. I would be so on. I would plan stuff just to catch them and get myself a promotion. Just kidding. No,
all the values Dubai Police are really looking for. So Dubai Police Social Services Government, they were number 6. Number 5. Now I'm imagining Simran in all of these roles. So number 5, Simran, Hilton Hospitality.
Is it?
Welcome to the show. Number 4, top employers in the UAE were actually 5 hotels. I got confused there because it's 5 hotels. 5 hotels. That's surprising.
Must have a lot of benefits.
Must have a lot of benefits.
Meals, offers on staycations.
Potentially.
Offers on restaurants.
Maybe.
Offers on spas.
I'm not sure.
Offers of living.
But what is interesting though is that we're obviously looking at this survey which was taken over the last year during the pandemic. So all of these companies, I'm sure, retained probably a high employee rate. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there probably wasn't a lot of job losses, and I think that's keeps your well-being when you keep your job. Moving on, number 3 is Shalhoub Group.
Snap.
Do you know Shalhoub Group?
Yeah, of course. Like they have a lot of fashion brands under them. So
I only say do you know it because James works for them, so that's why I know. Yes,
flex.
Discounts.
Seriously, do you?
Yeah, but it's the high-end stuff, so I don't really.
You get to share the discounts with friends and families and colleagues.
No. I'm saying no, but yes, quietly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. They're not my discounts to share.
I don't
DHL, number 2. And finally, number 1, the best employer to work for in the UAE, as revealed by Great Place to Work, is the one. I went too soon at that, didn't I? The one. Retail services, they're the place that you want to go and furnish your home with. Yeah, top employers.
The one. I thought you were going to say the one and only. The one.
The one.
The one.
The one. Well done, guys. So your employers are very happy. You maintained employee well-being as well as continued business throughout the pandemic, which is no easy task. So congratulations. Someone saying DHL, where do you guys work? Does anyone want to shout out your employees? I enjoy working at Lovin Dubai.
Same here. I love it. Shout outs. Heroes of hope.
Heroes of hope.
Of course.
This is it, guys. Where do you work? Let us know.
Let us know. Give them a shout out, or give them a shout out to say how bad they are if you want. Like expose everyone today. Okay, but
speaking of exposing, initially when I saw this, I mean, I came to know of this news. I was like, I thought it was really funny, like a man just pretending to play dead. I'm like, oh my god, I should do that more often when I want to get out of work. That's what the chill room is for.
Like, hey, see, I'm dead.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a very serious piece of news. And so to avoid paying a massage fee of 1,000 dirhams, a Dubai-based expat fled from a massage parlor in the T-Com area, resulting in a group of 8 men attacking him to steal his money and phone. Now, a 24-year-old Moroccan young adult took his complaint to the Dubai Court of First Instance and conveyed in a statement that he went for a massage in January this year at 5 a.m. However, after being informed by his masseuse of the 1K cost, he put on his clothes and he refused the service and the charges, and he went to the reception and he's like, I'm only paying 200 max, and they're like, no, it's 1,000, and he's like, okay, no, I don't want to do it at all. And while attempting to leave the parlor, a group of 8 men attacked the complainant and completely assaulted him. So punched him, kicked him, chased him outside the building, but he managed to escape through all of these punches and kicks, and he ran away. Then he just pretended to play dead, after which the gang saw and left him alone. Then, apart from the assault, the gang also robbed the expat of 7K worth of belongings, his smartphone, his gold chain, and yeah, so all of that. Then the next day, the guy went back to the parlor, So the guy who got attacked, he went back to the parlor with his friend, and he saw one of the defendants, and he's like, okay, he called up the Dubai police, and Dubai police came, they arrested him, and they also saw, so the defendant was a 34-year-old Bangladeshi culprit, and he denied all claims of assaulting, and but the Dubai police found the gold chain that was that the complainant said he lost. They found the guy in possession of it, and they're like, okay, they arrested him, and now they're still trying to find the other members of the group that are still at large. But yeah, the verdict is going to be announced on April 20th.
Wonder what caused them to want to do that.
So massage, I don't know what kind of a massage parlor it was, but from the comments, people really were very engaging with the story, and they're like, it is a shady business, like massage parlors. You're not the legit ones, like those shady ones. So sometimes they have these situations and all of that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to say. It's just interesting in terms of the playing dead role.
Yeah.
If you do ever come into an assault type situation, seems like a good way to do it.
You know, very honestly, you might find it funny, but like in a lot of movies that I saw, there were like terrorist attacks and stuff. I was like, why not just pretend to play dead on the floor? Like that way they just, it's not funny, but like I don't know,
of course not, but 100%. I think that's we're hardly going to get up and fight. We just
I would think if I was ever in that situation, I would just pretend to play dead. Yeah, I personally.
No, but especially if you're being attacked by a group of people, you don't. The odds are against you, so you just act injured, wounded.
Exactly.
That will not help your case. They will keep attacking you.
Okay, so I'm
speaking from which.
Yeah. Because in Dubai, I think they would be scared if they killed you. You know, like especially here. You know, I'm saying it as a joke, but it's really serious. But anyway, I would think like if I were in a situation where I would like there was an attack happening, or pretend to play dead and somehow wait for them to come near me, pick up any sharp object near me, and just stab them. Like,
I can see someone doing that. Thoughts, Holly? Play dead or fight?
If you look at the school shootings, in the past, students have had to play dead when those attacks have happened, and they wait for the shooter to leave, and then they come out from it. That's how someone actually survives in those school shootings, which is awful because they're around their peers who are passed out and are dead, and they had to play dead, and that's how they survived with it.
It's the scariest situation to put yourself in, but it may be your only way out.
Traumatizing, horrible.
Moving on. 2 Irish women were arrested for refusing to quarantine after a plastic surgery trip to Dubai. Another day, another story of Irish people in the press not abiding by the new quarantine rules in place there. The 2 Irish women stated they travelled to the UAE to undergo cosmetic procedures, despite Ireland's rule of only allowing travel for essential purposes. Reports claim they were denied boarding at Dubai airport because they did not have the fees necessary to quarantine in Dublin. So basically, if you're going back to Dublin at the moment, if you're going back to Ireland, they've brought in place in the last 2 weeks, we've covered it a little bit, a quarantine fee that you have to go to a hotel. So regardless of whether or not you have your home in Ireland, you still have to go to a hotel. I think it's the same in the UK, and pay approximately €1,800 per person to do that hotel quarantine. So at the airport in Dubai, they said they did not have that money. They spent 2 days in Dubai airport. They made it back, and then they were both charged with breaking the Health Act. And they were able to provide 3 COVID negative results, but reportedly didn't have the fees to actually do the quarantine. So it's in the courts in Ireland at the moment, but it's just a interesting topic of conversation. It's actually getting a lot of news headlines here, which is interesting. I don't think I'm telling the story because I'm Irish. I think a lot of people are talking about it because I think it makes you compare the rules in different countries and when and where they were brought in by the government, and then how the citizens are abiding by them, because this isn't the first story that we've heard of people just kind of completely ignoring the quarantine rules. But it just doesn't happen here. It just wouldn't happen here. You just do as you're told, and hopefully leads to I do believe, left to a safer, more comfortable place to be in this year. Yeah,
obviously they've introduced it so recently, and definitely for a reason. So they want to control the spread, and it's the 3rd wave going on. So it makes sense. Like if you have to quarantine, you should do it. And over here, like you said, they wouldn't have they would do it without any hiccups whatsoever. So when you go back to your own country and you feel like, you know what, everything's fine, you just slack off, and it's not cool at all. Like, this is, yeah, so many stories are coming out of similar nature.
It's just interesting because I know with this story in particular, there's a lot of arguments on both sides, and the fact that, you know, they do have a home to go to, whether or not they should have to pay this fee. But it's when it becomes law, because I think you should have these arguments before and after. When it becomes law, I think people just have to abide, because you have to trust in the government. You have to respect the rules of the country that you're in. And I think that's why things can work so well here, because when something comes into place, you just do it regardless of the conversations either side. But at the same time, you have to respect that the government is doing it, and let's say, for example, that the conditions that they'll stay in are habitable, that they'll kind of be well treated, that they have kind of, you know, able to get out for fresh air, they have food every day.
One of the articles actually that I read about the quarantine situation in Dublin, they do get food packages sent to them, so the hotel provides them with food, from what I read.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I mean, like, they are doing the best they can, and I'm sure if they go back to their own homes, I mean, I would assume that if you are sent to your home, you do get like a little you take that slack off, and you know, think, okay, like, I'll just go out, I'll do this, I'll do that. But at least in a hotel they can monitor, and they have like, they properly can assure that no one is breaking quarantine. So it makes sense. I mean, to me it makes sense.
Yeah, and I just think that this one in particular hit headlines because they had left the country, what they said was for essential purposes, but it was in fact for cosmetic procedures. So coming back in, people have less pity. Anyway,
but moving on to lighter news, here is a quick breakdown of the fasting timings in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for the holy month of Ramadan, which will last for 30 days this year. Now, depending on the moon sighting, Ramadan is likely to begin on Tuesday, April 13th, followed by Eid al-Fitr, which is predicted to fall on Thursday, May 13th. And fasting hours on day 1 would be 14 hours and 4 minutes. So the fasting timings will be 4:43 a.m. in Abu Dhabi and Dubai on the first day of Ramadan, and until 6:47 p.m., which will be iftar. And by day 30, fasting timings will increase to 14 hours and 46 minutes. So it's starting next week. It's like, people are already excited in anticipation of Ramadan. So
yeah, of course. I think we'll get the notifications from the government about working hours. I believe it's 9 to 4. Don't quote me on that. But that usually, if you're doing a 9 to 6 day, it goes to 9 to 4. And yeah, the city, this is an exciting month. It is leading into the most exciting month. And yeah,
it's amazing. So much charitable initiatives go on this month. People just become so giving, and it's just such a beautiful time of the year. And we're gonna have our big iftar list also out soon. So if you're excited to have bonding sessions with the family, we're gonna be giving out a bunch of places you guys can go and break your fast.
Yes, there's so many places. It feels like the city is 100% opening up again. Guys, that is it for the first part of our show, but stay tuned. We have much more to come. We will be joined by Holly Murphy from Heroes of Hope. We'll also be looking for cool places to try across the city. We have Rich in studio who's going to spin the I've Never Tried wheel in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Lovin Daily. We are excited. We have spin the wheel. Simran has left me. That was a quick vanish move. Hi, Rich.
Just disappeared. I've replaced
her. You've replaced her because, of course, it's Dubai Food Festival running for 24 days, and we're absolutely enjoying exploring the best foodie experiences that Dubai has to offer. And with that, we have unique gourmet experiences hidden behind this wheel, and Richard is going to be our, I wouldn't say guinea pig, because you're actually going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You're going to be our guinea pig, you're going to spin it, and hopefully find somewhere cool to try.
So, whatever is behind this, I'll get to go and taste in this restaurant. Amazing. Cool. Amazing. How long is Food Festival running for?
So Food Festival is until April 17th. That's 24 days. We talked about Dubai Restaurant Week. We're looking for the best crack in town. But before we spin the wheel, we want to show you a quick recap of Simran's enjoyable experience when she went to Traceland.
Is it playing?
One more time. If you wanna run away with me, I know a galaxy and I could take you for a ride. I had a premonition that we fell into a rhythm where the music don't stop for life. Glitter in the sky, glitter in my eyes, shining just the way you like. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of company, you met me at the perfect time. You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating. The Milky Way, we're renegading. Yeah, yeah.
So guys, that was Simran's experience at Traceland. We have literally eaten our way around Dubai. We've had so much fun. I've been to Low, I've been to Boca. There's so many amazing places that you can try. And now Richard finally gets to spin the wheel.
I used to do this more, and now I get to go to something. It's quite fun.
Now you just watch Simran's stories.
Yeah.
Wait. Do you feel like you're watching Spin the Wheel? Or what was that? What was that?
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. Oh, there was a. I think. Oh no.
That's for
Oh
you.
no.
That's
the one.
We got this one. Oh, look.
Richard is going to
Koya, fancy.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay, so when do I get to go? Someday this week?
Someday this week.
Okay.
So as far as I know, Koya, so there's obviously foodie experiences. There's also restaurant week. So you can eat 2 and 3 courses at different restaurants across Dubai. Simran did Traceland, it was only 150 dirham. This one could be 250 dirham for a 3-course menu. And obviously, it's one of the best restaurants in Dubai. And
So all these high-end restaurants have good kind of packages for a restaurant week. Okay, cool.
A quick question.
Yeah.
If you may or may not know, Richard is my brother, and our mum watches this show every morning, and she loves foodie experiences. I brought her to 3 Phils as part of Dubai Food Festival. She absolutely loved it. She was asking the chef millions of questions. So, quick question, Rich, who are you taking?
I'm not sure.
It's gonna kill me.
Like I've just found out that I'm going, so and I've just found out where I'm going. So yeah, I'll invite someone today. Yeah, thanks, Case. I'll let you know though.
Good.
And yeah, thanks for.
I know, like, Mum is literally going to be commenting saying I'm available right now.
Yeah, I know. All right.
We look forward to seeing your experiences.
Thanks.
Guys, stay tuned. We have Holly Murphy joining us in studio in 30 seconds. Lovin Extra is here. This is the new membership, and while absolutely nothing changes for our readers, extra members get access to premium content, exclusive competitions, and first look for tickets and access to the coolest events across the city, and Lovin merch. If you subscribe right now, a very cool Lovin Red Eco Water bottle will be delivered to your door. Guys, welcome back to the Lovin Daily. I'm joined by Holly Murphy, who is the founder of Heroes of Hope, an entirely non-profit devoted to people of determination here in Dubai. She works with sports clubs, gyms, trainers, all to ensure that children of determination can get active. And last week, she ran 7 marathons in 7 days to raise awareness and funds for her organisation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not at all. First of all, massive round of applause. What you did was incredible.
Thank you.
7 marathons, 7 days. When did you finish up?
Friday. I finished up on Friday in Dubai on the Palm. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience actually. Because we actually had on the last marathon, we had a number of the heroes that came to the Palm and just joined in on the run. And we actually had 2 of the heroes who broke records. We got one young fella, and he ran the longest distance ever by any of our heroes. He ran 11.5 kilometers. And we had another little boy, who's only 10, with autism, and he actually completed 7.5 kilometers. So both of them right now are holding Heroes of Hope records.
Oh, amazing.
So it was really cool, actually. Yeah.
As are you. But just so people have an awareness before we get into the whys and the hows and the how you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
What is Heroes of Hope?
So Heroes of Hope, it is, we run as a not-for-profit organisation for children and adults with additional needs. So yes, some of them do have cognitive disabilities and others have physical disabilities. However, we eliminate the whole word disability. We don't actually see that. We're just trying to provide like a community where people who may have additional needs, who need support, love, encouragement, and just a place where they can feel they can accomplish something new. So we are a very kind of hybrid organisation. And I said that we are pretty organic in how we approach what we do. We don't believe in any limitations for any of the children or adults, with these needs. We basically are trying to build a pathway for these people to achieve something they never did before. you know, and accomplish something. And then also for the families to be in a position where they can, you know, like we all do, even when you and me are probably growing up, a place where the parents can come and like watch their children achieve something really remarkable, you know, and they get to cheer on their child or to train, you know, their child towards something. So it's just really building a platform where we can create new experiences and a place where these kids can just honestly just have a lot of fun and, you know, be totally embraced for who they are. Yeah.
This is amazing because I think that there aren't many organizations like you in Dubai.
No.
and before we talk a little bit more, I just want to state that Holly Murphy is the founder, the passion, the drive, the strength behind making this happen. So congratulations, because I know it's been many years coming to get to kind of, I guess, a fully fledged organization status and everything.
Absolutely.
What is the passion? What spurs you on to make Heroes of Hope such a great organization?
I think there's a lot of that, because I've been in sport my entire life. Since about the age of 6, I've always been involved in sports. This is my mother threw me into, because I had a lot of hyperactivity as a child. And, you know, my mum was like, what do I do with her? Like, so I was kind of thrown into sport from a very, very young age. And I think sport for me has always been a place where I always felt personally very accepted. I could always find, that's where I found my strength, my personality, you know, and it helped me become the person I am today. But equally, when I went on to become like a teacher as well, I truly believe that sport has this additional power. I don't think any child has to be exceptional at sport in order to be accepted. I think sport has a power within it where anybody can come, get involved and learn something new about themselves. And in addition to that, they can develop a lot of different skills or meet a lot of people. And from a social perspective, it can be very, I suppose, supportive environment. So I think through that type of experience, I just felt like people, particularly with additional needs, for some reason, I don't know why, along the way, I don't know how society works, but a lot of barriers have been created. And often people see people with additional needs almost like a charity case or what they cannot do. We don't actually show off what they can do. So through my own experience, particularly training to be a teacher, I always chose, you know, that area, you know, that was really engaged me. That's where I wanted to work out systems where we could create a pathway for people with additional needs to be able to excel, whether that's through sports or in other ways. So I was always fascinated by it. I always worked in that area. Even from about the age of 16, I started to get really involved with it as a volunteer coach myself back at home in Ireland. And then that transferred over to the UK as well. So when I came out here, it's something that I just, you know, wanted to continue, but I actually couldn't find many children with special needs when I first came out here 12 years ago. So
that's such an interesting statement.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. And I was like, this is, you know, I kind of had suspicions that there were some children in the schools I was working at that may have had needs, but it wasn't highlighted. It wasn't something at that time that people were overly comfortable talking out loud about. However, over the last 12 years, I have seen a complete 180 in this, you know, it's something that we are very vocal about. It's something that support systems are coming into place, and it's something, you know, that's very topical out here at the moment. So in terms of progress, I think the UAE should be very proud for what they've achieved over the last couple of years, and hence why something like Heroes of Hope now we've come to the forefront. But during my experiences out here I did actually start to volunteer at some centres out here, where for me, from a personal level as well, I gained a lot of experience and insight into the community and to people's lives out here and the families and what they were going through. And I think just coincidental, when I got more attached to the families and, you know, their stories, you know, I really wanted to be able to give back. I really want to play something, you know, for the children, because these children are outstanding. You know, what I watch these kids achieve on a day-to-day basis, it's truly remarkable and inspirational. It's not even just about the children, it's the families, it's those parents. The parents, for me, are the hidden heroes. It's really not me, it's not the coaches, sometimes not even the kids. It's the unconditional love these parents give these children, the amount of support they're giving their children, you know, it is remarkable. Like, as you already know, like being a parent, like I'm not a parent, but my sisters are, you know, and they have a pretty tough job on a day-to-day basis and with their own kids. Yeah, you know, being a parent is definitely a hard job. It's a full-time job. But I think being a parent of determination is a whole other level, you know. So when I watched what the parents are doing for these children, they are an inspiration to me. And, you know, I was in a position, obviously, to go off and run 7 marathons and pull a team behind me, go off and do, because, you know, I think sometimes, especially for the families and the children, they need a voice for them. You know, they can't do it themselves, unfortunately, because they've got so many other commitments and juggling so many other balls. Like, you know, being in a position to be able to support the community whatever way I can, like that's what I've kind of devoted myself to doing.
So would you say your purpose for running the 7 marathons and 7 Emirates in 7 days, that was to be a voice for the community, to raise awareness for Heroes of Hope?
Absolutely, to raise awareness, obviously, for the support that's required, you know, for the families, for the children, and just in general for communities to start, you know, building. We need to build more communities for people of determination and just people alone. You know, we call ourselves really family of hope, right? From the coaches to the children to the families. We are literally a family of hope. We really do look after each other, but everybody needs family, particularly when you're living away from home. You know, and everybody, you know, particularly during COVID, we're even more segregated now than ever before from our loved ones. So I really do feel that everybody does need family, and by building communities like Heroes of Hope, we can offer that. We can support each other, we can help each other in lots of different ways, and we're just lucky that sport, health and fitness in particular naturally builds community. So that's what we're trying to foster out here as well. So, but equally as well, like, you know, we are trying to build a lot more awareness. We're trying to campaign for additional support for the organization. And I think a lot of people can talk, but I think it's important to action and to lead. And by doing that, then you can prove, you know, exactly what needs to be done out there. So I do believe in leadership as well, and being that inspiration as well for the families and for the children.
Well, this is it, because what you've done is obviously, we spoke before the show, and the Irish Independent, which is big news back at home, they want to get in touch with you and talk to you because you've really spread awareness with just this 7 days, not just the 7 days, but, you know, 294 kilometers of running. Was that a massive personal achievement for you? Have you ever done kind of long, demanding, grueling fitness feats like that before?
To be honest, it has been like a really overwhelming experience, even from a personal level, like as well, like, because I think the momentum it built, like it actually expanded beyond the UAE. Like I had friends from the UK, I had friends obviously in Ireland who, you know, have been watching the story and watching obviously the organisation build and grow. So the amount of support I even got from overseas was actually
so good to hear.
Remarkable. It was very, very impressive. Like in terms of my own experience, like I said, I've always been involved in sports from a young age. So I've always kind of been used to kind of put myself under like a physical demand, because that's where that's my comfort zone. For most, it's the uncomfortable zone. For me, that's where I like to be, you know. And that's 7 marathons is more
you know,
and I enjoy that. Like, but in terms of doing this challenge, I hadn't actually done any previous training, you know, and I kind of landed the bombshell on top of my team, and I said, listen, and like all the team are volunteers themselves. I just kind of said to them, because previously we had other ambassadors, you know, go ahead to try and raise funds for Heroes of Hope, like Ghani Suleiman, he did the 30 by 30 challenge. We had Joe from the BR Studios, he went on and did the challenge UAE Man challenge. He did that as well to raise awareness for Heroes of Hope. And I kind of looked at these guys and I said, you know what, I think I could do something. And they were like, and then I said to the team, I said, you know what, I think I need to do it. I need to be, you know, the one.
You need to be the leader
I need to be a leader in this. And so 2 weeks out, I said, you know what?
2 weeks out?
Yeah. The weather was going to change. So if I left it any longer, it was going to turn to October, November before I could do it. So literally 2 weeks out, I said, I'm going to run 7 marathons in 7 days. And you know, I must say, like, Casey, it was women power, because most of our coaches are actually women. They got behind it to support it. One of the Tala, like she's a running coach out here, she gave me a lot of kind of professional advice on, you know, how to manage myself, what to do. Also a female coach. It's almost like women empowerment. We all got behind it and we said, right, let's do it.
Amazing.
And the way we pulled it off, and we managed to do it, and we completed 7 marathons in 7 days across the Emirates. Yeah.
I can't believe that 2 weeks out you decided to take this on, and you've done it, and you're walking in here today.
I'm doing okay, absolutely fine. Like obviously I've got, you know, some pain in that in the legs, so I'm, you know, that's going to take, you know, a couple of days for the I suppose the inflammation, all that to go down, but like it is what it is. But yeah, I think for me it definitely has been an experience, a personal experience. I wasn't sure going into this how my body was going to respond. I had no idea, because I've never done anything back to back that extreme. So I was like saying to the team, I could explode tomorrow for all I know. I don't know.
Were there any moments where you physically or mentally thought, that's it, maybe like day 3, day 4, halfway through the first marathon, like this is a marathon a day for 7 days?
Yeah.
Was there any kind of really tricky, personal, challenging moments that you faced?
I think there was moments, like particularly actually after the second one, for some reason second one seemed to be the hardest one. That was in Fujairah. I had a lot of knee pain at that point, and calf strains were starting to settle in. But also the heat in Fujairah was actually ferocious. It was a one marathon where I really felt, fatigued and dehydrated. And I remember thinking, wow, have I really, over challenged myself here at that point? That was only marathon number 2. But then when I got to Ras Al Khaimah for marathon number 3, and the amount of support when I got to RAC was actually truly overwhelming. Like people who I haven't seen in about 6 years out here, because obviously you're different paths, we go different ways, had suddenly showed up at 5 o'clock in the morning on the side of the street being like, go, go, go. And I was like, oh my God. And there was a crew of people waiting in RAC, like from the cycling community, the Gaelic football community, the rugby community. People came up from Dubai to be there. And I was like,
you're giving me goosebumps of knowing that the community came out. I love to hear it.
But that's where, like, in terms of the awareness came out, like, even though I was creating awareness, obviously trying to create awareness by Heroes of Hope, we actually had injected that awareness into lots of other areas in the city or in the country. And I was like, oh my God, like, and suddenly we see that happening, all those doubts or, that level of fatigue, whatever you're feeling, it just disappears, it washes away, because you're just so, motivated and inspired by, what you're trying to achieve. Like, so I kind of broke it down to 3 P's, like it's passion, purpose, and the people. And that's why I did it, like, because I know the community that I'm representing. And what was really nice was even the families were taking videos of their children this week, getting out and running. And they're like, we're running for Holly. Your little videos being sent to you, and you're looking at that like at 4 a.m, and you're like, yeah, no, let's get out there and let's do this. Like, So you kind of feel like you're doing this sometimes with those that can't as well. So it is kind of, we have so much of that inside of you. It overcomes everything else. All that doubt, any bit of physical pain, it just disappears. And it kind of, you are actually running from the heart, like, and that's kind of what you're trying to do. Yeah.
What is the one thing, so raised awareness, hopefully raised funds, which we can talk about in a second, and how people can donate if they'd like to. But what is the one thing you would like to see more of in UAE society with Heroes of Hope involved? What's the one, is there any kind of big change that you'd like to see more of?
Big change I want to see more of? Absolutely. I think regards to like what we're trying to achieve is like, I think equality for people of determination and education. Like in the terms of like, I do feel like the younger generation, are absolutely amazing when it comes to working with people of determination, because through our system we actually have junior coaches. So we've got high school kids who come and volunteer, and they come out to our programs and they help us with the kids. But I actually feel like it's our generation and above, they're not as educated. They actually don't understand special needs, like as well as probably the younger generation, because like even with autism, there's very different spectrums of autism. Like it's completely different ways. And we've had some sad experiences happen where people have responded badly to some of our kids because of their behavior. Like they might, like they can be quite a bit impulsive. So sometimes they might run over, say something to you, run off. But then all of a sudden, that person's really offended. They touched me, they did this. I'm like, I'm really sorry. They're a person with special needs. They don't mean to do that. And all of a sudden then you're engaging in like difficult conversations with people. You're trying to explain to them. And I'm like, it's not my job to educate you. Like, please just be understanding of this person's needs. They don't mean to do that. They don't mean to behave that way. Unfortunately, it's part of the condition and it's just how they are. So I think there is that level of education that does definitely need to be put out there so people can understand more about perhaps somebody with additional needs and how they may respond or how they may react, and just not to take it personally, and just to, if it happens, please just be accepting of it. But it's definitely trying to find more work opportunities for people of determination as well. Like we're really lucky because Gymnation have partnered with us, so we have some of our athletes, adult athletes, who work at Gymnation, and Gymnation provide that platform for us, for anybody who we feel who can go to the gym and work. They've actually offered that for them, so a bit of vocational work, which is fantastic. And some of our older adults, they absolutely love going to Gymnation, and the staff at Gymnation have been fully accepting of our gang, and they're like giving them high fives, and our kids, I say kids, they're not kids, but like they love to go, like they're like, we're off now to work, and I'm like, how was work today? Yeah, it was great. And they love it, like, and they've had such a positive experience there, and that's what I want from them. Like, I want them to have positive experiences. I want people to take the time to get to know them, understand their characters, their quirks, and just see past the label and see them for exactly who they are. And that's all it is. So I think at the end of the day, as people, we are all individuals. You and me are totally different. How you might do something, how I might do something totally different. It's the same with people with determination. They actually are very, very same as us. They're just individual, and we need to accept them for their individuality. And rather than labeling, we look past that completely. In fact, eradicate it. And I think eventually in time, I think that will eventually happen. But for now, we're still in a process of figuring out how we can support them properly. But it's happening. And like I said, that progression is starting, particularly here in the UAE, and what they're providing and how they're trying to go about it. It's pretty remarkable right now. Yeah,
100%. Like you said, you arrived here 12 years ago, and how the landscape has changed in terms of even recognizing.
Oh, absolutely.
And now in schools, I know that they're highlighting a lot more,
Massively.
rather than, you know, there's a lot more resources provided and stuff for children's determination. So it's great help.
It is. And like even recently, like the malls now, they've actually put out like a sign to say this is actually between this hours and this hours.
We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
it's
for the autistic people with autism to go in, like, you know, because they do have sensory needs. And that's another thing is, if they hear a loud bang or loud noise, they can suddenly react and get really impulsive, or they might lie down on the floor. And if you're in public and that starts to happen, people might look at you and be like, what are they doing? You know, I'm like, no, you know, it's a personal determination or whatever. But it's nice the fact that you can actually now, parents are in a position they can bring their children to a mall.
This is huge, and this isn't happening in other countries. And the fact that UAE's brought in, I think it's an hour a week, especially in Yas Mall, a couple of malls in Abu Dhabi.
I think it's wonderful. Yeah. It's so great for the families to do that, and equally for example, people with determination as well, to learn to be in a mall. To learn how to go into a shop, and to learn maybe how to clothes shop, how to food shop, you know, how to use an escalator, how to use the trolleys. Like, it's such a learning experience as well for them, because often, you know, they cannot go to the mall. It's too busy. Even me, I get over sensorized in a mall. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. It's so busy. Yeah. You know, it's just too much. Don't put me down Grafton Street in Dublin City on a Christmas day. I can't be dealing with that. Like, it's too many people. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, get me out. Like, but it's even more overwhelming for somebody to say, you know, with an additional need. It can get very, very difficult for them. But also,
and that's a hardship on the parents then, because then they have to figure out times. So this really opens it up for them.
Absolutely. And even now they've brought in the cinema as well. Like, you know, there's a sensory cinema now as well for children with autism as well. Like, in the past, I've tried to bring some of my athletes to the cinema. I've had them escape at the exit because they can't stand the noise of it. It gets too overwhelming, or the picture and the lighting is getting too much. And again, at the cinema, I was asked to leave one day, and I was like, I'm not leaving. He's actually autistic. If he needs to get up and walk around for a bit, he will. You know, and it's kind of the experience that we happen to have sometimes. But it's not anyone's fault. It's just because we haven't been educated 100%. Or been more aware around those type of things. So I'm hoping moving forward then, like, you know, that as a whole society or as a culture, not just here in the UAE, it's a global thing. This isn't just about the UAE. Because even when I've traveled abroad, like, I've always made an effort, because that's just in me, to go and visit special needs centres abroad as well, for my own kind of understanding what's going on. I mean, places in Thailand, oh my God, Africa, and the things that you see, like, you just walk away and you're like, how can you even start to help? You know, and it's not just something here in the UAE, it's everywhere. People with special needs exist globally. It's part of, you know, human beings. Like, it's going to happen. But rather than try and put them away, we need to just accept it, we need to learn about it, and we need to develop a system where we can embrace them rather than segregate them.
100%. That's where it is. And eradicate those labels.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. And like I said, accept them for the individuals they are, understand their personalities, and when that starts to happen, that's when you start to move mountains. You know, and that's what we do at our programs. It's like, we have a lot of children. We've got over 187 children, and it's growing, it's increasing. And we are trying to figure out a system how we can meet demand, because, you know, we want to be able to take on every single child, but every single child that we have, they all access learning or sports completely different. So we try to make it as personal as possible, you know, and even though we might try and create lots of different activities and games and different ways for the kids to work, we still try to personalize as best we can. How I teach one kid is totally different how I might speak to the other kid. You know, one kid I might have to be super strict with, the other kid I might have to be super funny with. So you have to constantly be very flexible in your learnings and teaching with the kids. But once you develop that ability to do that and you get to know the kids, it's awesome. I have one little kid and he's so funny. Like, he has such an imagination, and, you know, some days I'm putting down the cones, you know, to do activities like jump over the cone or step over cones. And he's like, it's the monster's teeth. I'm like, okay, yes, it's the monster's teeth. And he's like, we have to go over slowly. We don't want to wake up the monster. And I'm like, you're exactly right. And that's the imagination. Rather than trying to tell them to come into our world, you have to go into theirs. You have to, because that's the thing, and the beauty of their brains is they do see the world in a very different way. And sometimes how they see the world is better how you see it. Like, they're very optimistic and very positive. They don't feel any jealousy, and they don't actually have any anger. The only reason why they might attack is a sensory thing. It's not because they're angry, it's a sensory thing. So sometimes we're embraced and you go inside their world and you see it through their eyes. It's actually a very, very lovely place, you know. And I always find that I've learned way more from them than they've learned from me. You know, the way I've developed my style of coaching or teaching and leading has come from being around them so much, you know, and I've tried to adapt according to, you know, to their world as opposed to mine.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you say you have 187 kids,
yeah.
and you
or
want
people of determination.
People
yeah.
of determination, sorry,
yeah.
and you want to expand obviously to be able to facilitate as many as you
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
And just kind of before we leave you guys, we're talking funds and raising
Absolutely.
donations,
yeah.
and obviously that was one of the reasons that you want to raise awareness is because
yes.
you need, and you became registered in 2019 officially.
Yeah, we're registered
so now that obviously fundraising is a lot easier in the UAE.
It is.
So how can people first of all how can they donate if they'd like to, if they're inspired by your story, and also secondly, is there any other way to donate time, or maybe if someone has like a certain facility that you could use
Absolutely.
or partner with, is there any way people can get in touch?
Absolutely. So at the moment, we actually, our website is under construction at the moment. We're redoing it again. We have to revamp it again. So that's fine. But at the moment, obviously Instagram is definitely the one I do. So we're like, here's a hope _ sorry, a lot of underscores there, but that's Here's a Hope. You can either contact us directly to the Instagram, and also the Instagram page, you'll find our email, which is here'sahopeUAE@gmail.com. And also we've got the WhatsApp on that as well. So people in particular can definitely, you know, use those as best we can. We'll get back to you because we are a voluntary organisation, including myself.
And how many volunteers do you have?
We have at this point about 52 volunteers at the moment, including myself. Like all my time points here, I hope is actually voluntary as well. So I'm doing whatever I can to keep my head above water. But like, yeah, so everybody's involved in the organisation is based on voluntary, you know, people. So we try and get back as soon as we can, but it can take some time. But we are doing our very best. But yes, massively you need facilities, especially now the weather's getting hotter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we definitely need some more indoor space moving forward. So people, if they want to get back to our organisation, they can actually donate a time in their facility, which is really lovely, and that would really help us. Equally as well, if people do want to donate, you know, finances, we're in a position to do that now as well. You know, CSRs, we're capable of taking those in or using, you know, we need sponsorship as well for a lot of the kit that we use. You know, we do need support with that one. Equipment in particular, because we need a lot of specialized equipment based on some of the abilities that we have. So we constantly need to do that. Even donation, even of therapy sessions. If you're like a physical therapist or a physio, please get in touch. We've got some of our athletes, you know, who've got poor mobility, and I have no obviously physiotherapy training behind me, but you know, from a sports scientist perspective, I can, you know, they need additional support with that as well. So again, even offer 1 or 2 sessions, or you know, we can raffle a session or whatever it is.
Nice.
So there's definitely ways at that. In terms of voluntary,
someone's actually just said, Lena has said, how is the volunteer program? I mean, can you explain it?
Yeah, I'll explain
good timing.
Absolutely. So regards to the volunteer program is, so we do have 2 levels of volunteers. We've got our adults volunteers and we do junior coaches. So the junior coaches generally are high school children who are maybe working towards their CAS or the Duke of Edinburgh, or just want to gain valuable experience before going to university. Mm-hmm. Because it is a very holistic approach. Like we do very much so advocate, if the junior coaches are coming on board, they take the leadership. So i.e. they are to contact us. They are to tell us why they want to be a junior coach. And we have someone who oversees that program. Mm-hmm. So, and we also do workshops with the junior coaches to teach them what we expect from them when they're under our organization, and the do's and don'ts with our children, because obviously they've never worked with people of termination. So we need to explain to them perhaps their behavior, what's going to happen, so they're fully prepared before they even come on board.
Great learning experience as well.
Absolutely. And then once they get involved with us, then they naturally build a relationship with the kids. So that's really nice, because now suddenly you've got mainstream and special needs unified. They're together, and they naturally look beyond their label. They're like, I'm just going to work with Alex today. I'm like, yeah, you got Alex. And they're like, cool. You know, they're happy out, like, and it's perfect. In terms of the adult volunteers, is we are being inundated with adult volunteers getting on board now. The only thing at the moment is we're very regimental and military with this, is because we do need consistency. And the reason is because the nature of the people that we are working with is they're very routine and they are very structured. So they like to have the same coaches at the different programs. So if people are going to volunteer, we need that to be a consistent volunteer base. So if you're going to choose to come down once a week to, for example, our running program, then we expect you to be there once a week for the running program, not just show up and then we don't see you for 3 weeks and you try and come back again. It won't work with the kids that we have. They don't really like change. It can actually put them off and they get very anxious about the idea. So
it's a tricky one to manage, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, but how I see it is, if you go to the gym once a week, all right, why not dedicate 45 minutes, you know, to us, you know, and then say to yourself on your schedule, that's my 45-minute block with the kids. Perfect. It's not that we need you there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Obviously, we've got volunteers who are so invested in what we do. They are there probably at a lot of the programs. But if you're someone that can put in like an hour a week, just once a week, and you can definitely devote your time to that, fantastic, brilliant. We don't advocate to have like special needs qualifications. That's not something we're advocating for. Absolutely not. Obviously, that does help, because the idea is we're trying to create a community of integration. So we want, it doesn't matter if you don't have those, you know, specific qualifications. Like because at the end of the day, not everyone's trained to work with special needs. Even the parents are not trained to work with special needs. However, we want to provide a platform where we are just integrating as a full community, you know, so that's okay. However, like, let us know what your background might be. If it is sports, if it is teaching, if it's something else, maybe you've done it before in the past, brilliant. But like I said, as and when the programs start to grow, we can then start to bring in more volunteers. The program will only grow if we've got more facility space. So it's all a knock on.
Facilities, funds, prizes that we can raffle to get people involved, volunteers.
Yeah, and like I said, even vocational work. If you're someone here and you have an office and potentially you could bring somebody in to do some vocational work with you, even once a week, you know, internship programs for some of the adults determination we have. We've got some really spectacular adults determination. Like, they really are awesome, you know, and it'd be great as well to maybe have 1 or 2 people come, you know, bring them into the office maybe once a week. They can help you with bits and pieces, you know. So that's also an opportunity we're really trying to pave the way for. But like I said, like, really it comes down to, as a community, let's just get together. Let's not overthink it. Let's think about solutions rather than problems, you know. And I think as a community, let's just get behind it, you know, and we can do so much together. And I think that's what the 7 marathons in 7 days proved. Like, I had a community behind me, you know, not just a Heroes of Hope community. We had my volunteer coaches who supported me every single day. Our coaches were out there in the van helping me out. Like, I had one little junior coach. He came every single day to help me. He was my water boy. And his name is Ralph, or Charlie. Charlie Ralph is his name. He got out of the car every single day. He came with his mom and he ran out with his with my water bottle every day, at least 1 kilometre. He's running out to me. Wow. Give me the water. I gave back to Charlie. He ran back in the car. Yeah. He was outstanding. He was up every single morning at 3:30 a.m. And he's 12 years of age. You know, and he was on the road with us every single day. That's amazing. He was amazing. Like, and when I say, he absolutely loves the Heroes. He loves the Heroes. And this young fella, he plays rugby, he runs, like, he's a real sports orientated kid himself. But, you know, he gave up a full week of his school holidays to basically go on the Heroes of Hope approach, you know, and he helped me out every single day, and he was there passing out the water and, you know, supporting us as best way he could. He even ran me some days. He's like, oh, I'll run with you now for a couple of kilometers. Like, awesome, thanks, Charlie. Like, awesome kid. But like, that's exactly what happens when you have a community behind you. If you've got a community and the right people with the right support, you can achieve anything. It's not just about me. Like I said, just as people, we need to think a bit more outside the box and just keep giving and keep giving. And then once we do that, we can achieve so much more.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. This is Holly Murphy, the founder of Heroes of Hope. And if you haven't heard of Heroes of Hope before, if this is your first time getting to know the organization, do check them out, learn more, get yourself involved. I think that's kind of the message that we're trying to spread today. Yeah. Thank you so much.
There's so many ways. There's so many ways. Yeah.
Well, finally, congratulations. 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 Emirates. What an amazing achievement. And thank you so much for your time.
No, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Guys, that is it for us on the Lovin Daily. We're back with you every single morning, same time, same place. Stay safe and wash your hands. Guys, that is a wrap for the Lovin Daily. We are back same time, same place every weekday morning. And of course, don't miss the Lovin Show every Tuesday where I chat with Dubai personalities. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and have a great day.